Well, we just got out of Guardians of the Galaxy, Borderlands. And I'm gonna give you my opinion on this movie that I watched. This is my immediate reaction. Spoiler free. This is not a spoiler, but it is something you should consider. Don't watch this movie. Don't watch this movie. If you're thinking to yourself, I'm kind of curious, maybe it'll be good. Don't do it. It's a trap. This has to be one of the worst scripts ever in the history of writing. Writing has been around for thousands of years. And know that I'm not the type of person to normally say these things. So when I say this, I do not say it lightly. Run. Do not walk away from this movie. Because the script, we can't even call it a script, I've decided. I think that's actually insulting to scripts. It's so bad. The green screen in this movie, I can do better green screen than this movie did. Why did this movie happen? Why did it happen like this? There are certain things that happen in this movie. I cannot wait to have a full review of this because I have lots of examples for things that I'm thinking of right now. My mind is like thinking of so many things that are examples of this. But the story in this film is all over the place. Not all over the place. The story in this film is told in a way that is not the way that you make a movie. Why did they do that? Why did they? It's interesting the way this movie was put together because it's like every choice they made undermines any potential good thing that could have been happening. The way this film is shot literally undercuts people's performances. You're working against yourself. It's like this movie is watching a war, not on the screen. We're not talking about the action. Let's not talk about the action. We'll talk about the action in a minute, actually. I have some things to say. But it's like watching a war where the movie is fighting with itself. Like it doesn't want to be successful. It's like, no, we're gonna make all the worst choices. We're gonna shoot everything like this. There's gonna be no angles, everything like this. Even stylistically, when it came to the psychos.
Who are the psychos?
Who are the psychos? They're the guys that wear the masks in Borderlands, and they basically are like barbarians. They're like crazy guys. They're really strong fighters. Physical fighters, typically, but they also use guns. They're masks in this. Why were the masks done that way? Like, you could have done so many cool things. There's so many style elements of this where I'm like, that actually looks pretty good. And then there's other things, like the psycho masks, that I'm like, why does that look cheap? How are all these things in the same movie? I don't understand it. Did they get partway through making certain things and then they were like, oh yeah, we have to make a bunch of other things. Oh, we used the budget on those few things. Same with the landscapes. There's some parts that look really good and then you realize they're just like repeating it. Like they were like, we put all our money into this one set. So everything else will have to either be pretty basic or we got to find a way to like use this piece again. Why did this movie happen? There are actually moments in this when the action's not bad, I'm gonna say, but at no point is it very good. There are some fights that are interesting and that I think are shot all right, but there's nothing dynamic that's happening. And the problem with this movie is it really feels like there's no stakes. So it's hard for me to care about the action when I feel like the stakes are just not something that I'm invested in, because there's no real reason for me to invest in these characters. And that being said, I actually feel like the actors in this movie are trying to do things. Like, the actors are working. Like, Cate Blanchett is actually working. Cate Blanchett actually made me think watching this movie, the one positive thing, if there's anything I could say, is that I actually believe that Cate Blanchett could be a great Lilith. Not in this movie, because this movie, no one survives this movie. But I could see the potential there. That was the thing that was really frustrating about this movie. Every time I feel like I saw a glimpse of potential, it was immediately crushed by awful decisions that, I mean, I don't even know really who to blame here. I think there's a lot of names probably that we'd have to, it's probably a list. It's gotta be a list with how bad this is. It's worse rated on Rotten Tomatoes. It's worse than Madame Web. I wouldn't say this is worse than Madame Web, but I would say it's at that level where when I said to you, I don't say this often, but don't go see Madame Web. That's how I feel about Borderlands. I don't say this often, but don't go see Borderlands. Or if you really, really want to see it, just wait. Or, you know, just don't. Just ignore that instinct. Like, just crush it. But, you know, you do you. If you really want to see it, I can't stop you. But I'm praying for you. I hope you get something out of this. Because I got nothing. At one point I had to go to the bathroom. And I got up. And I was so grateful. I've never been so grateful before to have to go to the bathroom during a movie. And when I came back to the theater, I walked past every other movie. It's like Wolverine and Deadpool. Inside Out 2. It Ends With Us. I was like, It Ends With Us. I could be watching It Ends With Us right now. But no, I'm watching Borderlands. So that's how I feel about it. Overall, I give this a 0 out of 10. Did I give Madame Web anything out of 10? I don't know. Maybe this is worse than Madame Web. Is that possible? I didn't think it was. I'm very frustrated by that. 0 out of 10, I'm sorry. I can't give you any stars. Not even for Cate Blanchett. And it hurts me because I really love her. And I love Jamie Lee Curtis. I love a lot of people in this. And I thought Jack Black was actually pretty good as Claptrap. I felt bad for Claptrap. That's the only part where it made me feel like it was Borderlands. Because when I play Borderlands, I always feel bad for Claptrap because he's just so annoying, but he's kind of endearing, and I think that was captured well. That's all I have for you. Duck, do you want to add any parting words?
One of the worst movies I've ever seen. I wouldn't recommend it to literally anyone.
Not even your worst enemy?
No, there are fates worse than death that I wouldn't wish upon
anyone,
even my greatest of enemies, and Borderlands is one of those. This isn't hyperbolic either. I'm legitimately like mad leaving the theater. This movie, I saw Oppenheimer twice in the theater on back-to-back days, and this felt longer than if I were to marathon Oppenheimer back-to-back in a single sitting.
I felt like this was a week of my life.
I've lost years of my life watching this.
You know, when they're talking about traveling and they're like, it takes this long to get over here, I hated that because I thought to myself, I hope it doesn't actually feel like that, because this whole film has already felt like it's been going on for a whole week that I've been sitting in the theater.
That's all I got. Like, I got nothing else to say about that.
What's your rating?
What? Nothing. 0.
0. Double O's. Snake eyes. Not even snake eyes. 0. Worse.
I'm sure there's a lot of people who worked really hard on this film.
I feel bad for them.
And I just feel bad because there was effort put in certain places, but oh my god, did this not come together in any way that was salvageable.
You heard it here first, folks. Or maybe you heard it here last. But there it is. Borderlands. 0 out of 10. Or 0 out of 5.
A 0's a 0, no matter where.
No matter what you do with it, a 0's a 0. And on that note, we'll see you in the next one. I will do a full review where we'll talk spoilers. But until then, friends, let's just pray for better movies and stay nerdy. Bye.
You gonna put your seatbelt on?
Yes. Why do you want me to? Buckle up. Buckle up, because I'm about to give you my reaction to Borderlands. and it's good to stay safe.
I'm cutting all of this.
Keep all of this. Comedy gold.